Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Battle Brothers Podcast. I am your host, Aaron. Joined with me today is Davis and Mark. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well, my friend. Doing well.
Good, but how are you?
Good, man. Been working on some stuff. We'll get into that. Today, we're going to go over. I went to an RTT recently, so we'll go over that. It was a fun little RTT at a store called Fenris Gaming in Leitersburg, Maryland. Also, we got some new data slates that dropped, so we're going to briefly touch over those. And then also, Adepticon happened, and it wasn't Mordaka that won. So it was. I watched some of the games, and they definitely were good. The final game was cut short on the GW stream. I think it's because they hit their 12 hours that they were doing, and then I heard he timed out. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll get into all that. So first up, Hobby Corner. What's on your desk, Davis?
Nothing big right now. I'm printing some rhinos for the Emperor's Children. Other than that, not much.
Nice, Mark.
I got an Invader ATV and a Chief Librarian Tigurius.
Ooh, yep, yeah. You told me you were bringing Tiggy. That's gonna be interesting. I've also got an ATV. Mine will be printed proxy, little hovercraft looking thing because I don't know. I think it looks better than the ATV four-wheeler thing. So yeah, it'll be interesting to run those. They're cheap little units for us for Space Marine guys. So 40K news. We have a whole bunch of stuff coming. We talked about that in the last episode. Some Age of Sigmar stuff was getting released. I don't think there was any 40K stuff that came out this week in the Sunday preview. But we do have some new data slates that are coming out, which we will touch on later in the episode. But first, I had an RTT this weekend, guys. I went 2-1. I lost my first game against Guard brutally. So I've got the info here a little bit. So first game, I got placed up against Clayton, new battle brother actually. After we played, I told him about our group, and he ended up joining. Seems like he's going to fit in good. Great player. Yeah, so he was playing standard Hammer of the Emperor, some Gaunt's Ghost, some Cadian Shock Troops, some Kazrakin, some Combat Engineers, heavy weapon squads, 2 Scout Sentinels, an Exterminator, 2 Vanquishers, 3 Toroks, and then I think he had some Dorn. He had like 2 Dorns. Maybe some other stuff on here I'm missing. The Lord Solar Leonidas.
Leontis,
There
yeah.
we go. Yeah, he was riding 2 Dorns. Yeah, that was tough for me to deal with. He brought his Toroxes up pretty early in the game with full of stuff, and I focused on getting rid of them. He did a lot of good move blocking for me. I was running, just to touch on my list, I was running Librarian, Calgar, Magnus, some 2 Land Raider Redeemers, Company Heroes, a Desolation Squad, and an Impulsor, a unit of 10 Stern Guard, an Assault Intercessor Squad, an Intercessor Squad, and a Scout Squad. And not too concerned about movement, but he blocked it pretty darn good. He outplayed me every step of the way. I got his Dorn down to like 5 wounds. Finally, when I got a shot, and it just wasn't enough, and he just overran me, beat me 100 to 32. I got 100 against him. It was a tough opponent. But he outscored me on primary, outscored me on secondary. It was linchpin. No excuse. I always have tough time with guard. But yeah, great player. My second game was against a new player. So I didn't treat it like a normal tournament game. I knew he was brand new. I kind of like what you did with me, Mark, when I first got started. I actually helped him. I was like, dude, no, do this, do that, do this. He was playing Lieutenant with this is going to be a very noob list, so we talked about it after the game, but he was playing First Company, which nobody ever plays. I told him to switch that immediately, but he was playing Lieutenant with a Combi, Magnus Calgar, Rebute, Intercessor Squad, an Impulsor, an Aggressor Squad, which he attached to Calgar.
You keep
Uh,
saying you keep saying Magnus.
I don't know why I do. Marinius Calgar. If I ever say nobody takes Magnus anymore either. From
Just you can
Cal.
just say Calgar, bud.
I
You say
know.
Calgar.
I
You'll be
know.
all right. Everybody knows who that is.
All right, Calgar, that guy.
That is his. That's the name he goes by. Is Calgar.
Ballistus, Blade Guard, Eliminators, Gladiator Valiant, a Redemptor, a Repulsor Executioner, and a unit of 10 Stern Guards in the Calidus. So list was all over the place. I ended up beating him 94-29. That was with me helping. I didn't want to go into this and just table him immediately. So, he would do something. I'd be like, you kind of want to do this with this. And I showed him what Sterngard can do with the Oath, and he definitely learned a lot. He actually ended up buying a box of Company Heroes immediately after our game. So yeah, I beat him. I actually didn't try to beat him. It just happened to work out that way. I mean, I wanted to get some points. It is an ITC tournament. I wasn't going to win the tournament anyways, but all in all, he learned a lot. He wasn't discouraged. He had a great time. And he picked up some stuff and is going to adjust his list, and I think he'll get better.
Well, that's what we want to do as a community. Is like we want to help the newer players. It's like, yeah, we want to win the games, but at the same time, we want to help guide them into the betterment of what they can do better.
Right, and being a new player, like I was wearing my Battle Brothers jersey, and he was like, "Oh, are you on a team?" And I was like, "Well, I am, but it's not. It's not that. It's not a team like you
Yeah.
would. It's not like a professional." I was like, "We're just a group of guys." I was like, "You're more than welcome to join, and we don't have tryouts or anything like that. It's just a community, and we help each other out."
Yep.
So I think eventually he'll get on board too. It's always nice to meet new players, and especially if you're ballsy enough to go to an RTT. I mean, he didn't win a game, but he had a great time. And
Yeah.
it just, I mean, I've lost so many games, and I get better every time. I learn more from the games I lose. And I'm hoping his other games were just as good. Sometimes you get into someone that all they do is care about winning, so they don't really help you out. I mean, I usually help out my opponents if I know something or. My last game was against World Eaters, Matt Faust, who actually I played the week before in a practice game up at Fenris. Great guy. He actually beat me in the practice game, so I kind of apparently Angron can move really fast, and I didn't know that. And he took out one of my Land Raiders turn one in the practice game. I didn't make that mistake. Um, I think his big mistake in that game, and we had talked about it, was his deployment. He saw what I could do to Angron. He saw what I could do to his Lord of Skulls. So he started his Lord of Skulls up front and Angron towards the back. And I was like, oh, you should have just started Angron up and just got into me. I mean,
Yep.
but he was running Angron, Lord on a Juggernaut, two Lords on Juggernauts, Master of Executions, 2 units of Jackals, 2 units of Berserkers, a Rhino, a Lord of Skulls, unit of Bloodletters, and Scarbrand. Turn one, I popped his Lord of Skulls with, turns out Sterngard Vet are very good into stuff like that if they roll hot. Popped him turn one. I think I got Angron turn two before he got a chance to get anything I deployed. So I was just out of. I think I fed him some stuff that Angron could get, but I didn't give him a Land Raider turn one like I did last time. Got his Angron, and Angron did not come back, and I think that hurt him a lot. I mean, if he doesn't come back, it's kind of that. But all in all, great game. I won 99-25 on that one. I did really. I had my secondaries were amazing. I mean, turn one, I got Bring It Down and Area Denial. Couldn't ask for a better one. And then from there, it was like engage on all fronts, no prisoners, secure no man's land, and containment, and storm hostile objective and establish locus. I mean, my secondaries were on point. It was like the best secondary game I ever had. But all in all, RTTs are fun. They get you practice for a GT. Anytime you can play 3 games in one day, it's great. And all in all, Fenris, we had 20 players, and I'd say a good majority of them were very big competitive players that go to these GTs, and then you had a mixture of new guys. So it was just all luck of the draw. I just happened, the guy, Clayton, the guy I played turn one, won the whole thing. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes game one, you go into the hardest guy, and that's what it is. But other than that, a
Yeah.
great time. That was just my RTT. I don't think you guys had any RTTs last weekend, did you?
Nah, that'll work.
Yeah.
No,
So
I planning to go to Fenris, but life just kind of happened.
Yeah, and I'm excited to have Fenris. It's in our area. It's just something else to go to. It's a good store. So if you're in the Hagerstown, Maryland area, yeah, definitely check it out. On to the new data slates, Mark. You want to go
All
over
right.
the new data slates that are coming? We got 3 of them coming.
Yeah, so it looks like GW released a new Kill Team box. I think it's you got some Goremongers for their World Eaters. The World Eaters got a new unit. You got some Adeptus Sororitas or Imperial Agents. Their unit is called Sanctifiers. We'll start off with the World Eaters one, the Goremongers. So these guys are pretty interesting for the Chaos. They look pretty cool. They got like amputated legs. They got like little chicken legs like the Advent will have. But they move really fast and they have infiltrate, so that's one of their big things. It's 8 of them for 85 points. You're paying a pretty penny for an infiltrating unit for them because like scouts are like 70 points and they're 2 ones apiece. Let's go to their profile. So these guys move 9 inches. They're T4. I have a 6-up armor save, 1 wound each, leadership 7, and OC 1. So that's not a very good stat line. That's pretty weak, pretty measly. Their core ability is Infiltrate, of course. They have Blessed of Corn, and they have Looping Speed. Once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal, advanced, or fallback move within 9 inches of this unit, if this unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, it can make a normal move up to D6. So you can basically move D6 inches, reactive move. There's Blood Herald and 7 Goremongers. Each of them is armed with an auto pistol and a chain blade and a close combat weapon. So they basically have like a bolt pistol or a las pistol, and then they've got a chain blade, just 3 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 3, AP 0, 1 damage. It's not really that impressive. Close combat weapon, just 2 attacks, strength 3, AP 0, 1 damage, hitting on 4 as well.
And they're
Yeah,
basically
And
cold.
then
you're
yeah,
take
you're basically just taking them for the infiltrate.
yeah, and they have the blessing of corn, so that's like if they die, they get to roll on that, right?
No, Blessed and Corn is just like the faction ability. So it's basically that they get the rules. So they get
Okay,
like the
I,
finish
I I
and
thought
whatever.
that if they died, you got to roll on that table or something. I'm thinking of something
No,
else.
that's
No,
just
that's a
that. It's
that's
like
a
Oath, where
banner.
basically just like
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a banner that the Colts or the Jackals get.
I mean,
yeah.
getting infiltrate's nice though. It helps them screen out a little bit.
Oh, they do have
No,
grenades.
it's not really it's not the screen you want. What that does for Warriors is it basically guarantees them a turn 1 charge.
Yeah,
Unless you have infiltrators that can out infiltrate their infiltrate, there's not going to be. They're going to have a section of that table where they're going to guarantee they can scout up 6, and now they're advancing and charging like that. That's going to be. I think that'll be huge for Warrior players.
So
yeah.
even
They can
if their
basically like
stat
prevent
lines
you
aren't
from
that
screening them
great,
out.
I mean, they're going into small chaff.
No, you're not even.
No, they're
You're not
basically to
even.
prevent you
You're
from being
they're
screened
not
out.
there. Yeah, you're paying 85 points to give yourself an entire quadrant of a table
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
to
basically preventing
guarantee
yourself from being
yourself.
screened.
Yeah, to guarantee now I have 3 8-bound units that are going to be, moving 12, advance or moving 9, D6 charge. They can scout 6 because of Invocatus. You
Yeah,
just gave World Eaters a guarantee, unless you have another unit that can infiltrate. I mean, this is going to cause people to take 10-man infiltrate units or 10-man like tormentor units that can stretch out. Because
yeah,
if you go, unless you go first, you deploy the first unit. World Eaters have a guaranteed turn 1 charge on your line.
yeah. Because otherwise, what you could do is if you're like Chaos Demons, you could bring like a unit of 6 Nurglings, just like, oh, I'm screening it out.
yeah, that's
Because
what I
like
meant.
before,
You're
World
using
Eaters
them
don't
to
have.
infiltrate to prevent them from
Yeah,
screening, or you're screening them out from preventing you from the first
Correct.
turn charge. Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
But once that's happened, they're worthless. They'll sit in the middle
They
and
are
it'll
a
see
wet
something,
paper
or
rag.
yeah, or maybe you can charge something or to eat an Overwatch or something. But after that, they're just OC1 cultists.
Yeah,
Yep.
you'll definitely see them in every list though.
You'll see 2 of them. I can
Okay,
almost promise
okay,
it. Minimum 1,
okay.
because they're a 10-man unit.
8 man.
Really,
Yeah, 8 man, 85 points.
that's strange.
Hey, Corn likes 8. They're also like the kill team box, so that's part of the reason why, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just that's a strange number.
This is a very strange number. It's not what you usually see.
I mean, I think they look cool. They're giving me Mad Max vibes.
No, they're neat. They're like little corn cyborgs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just, I know all my World Eater friends are happy to get the Infiltrate, especially in
Yeah,
the current
I
meta.
can imagine so.
All right, what's next on the list there?
Next up, we have the Sanctifiers for the Adeptus Aureatus. These guys, you get 9 models for 100 points. They move 6 inches, T3, 6 up armor save, 5 up invul save, 1 wound each, leadership 7, OC 1. Alright. They get a scout 6 inches. They have Axe of Faith. They, when they have a Ministerial Priest, they get Sustained Hits 1 for melee. They have a cherub, so once per game they can get an extra miracle dice. And then they can be led by a Ministerial Priest if it can be attached to a Battle Sister squad. And then the priest gets to scout 6 if he attaches to them. So they don't lose a scout if they're in a transport or if they get a character attached to them. Their war gear abilities, one of the guys can revive D3 models, excluding character models to the unit. In your command phase, and then they've got at the end of your command phase, they can generate an extra miracle dice if they're on an objective, on a 4-up, and that's your miracle dice, like Battle Sisters. Alright, so these guys have a bunch of different weapons. So in this, you get 1 Miraculist, you get 1 Salvationist, you get 1 Death Cult Assassin, 2 Missionaries, and 4 Sanctifiers. The Miraculist is equipped with Holy Fire and Burning Hands. The Holy Fire is like a one-shot flamer, but Strength 6, AP 1, 2 damage. 12 inch range, D6 shots. That's a flamer, but it can only be used as one shot. That guy also has a one attack in melee, which is Strength 6, AP 2, and 3 damage. So it's dead wounds. It's not bad. Just one attack though. The Salvationist is the guy that revives you. They just have close combo weapons, so just like one attack or 2 attacks and Strength 3. The Death Cult Assassin has 4 attacks at Strength 4, AP2, 1 damage, but precision, hidden on 2s. The 1 Missionary has a Plasma Gun and a Sanctifier melee weapon. And then the other Missionary has a Ministerial Flamer and Sanctifier melee weapon. Then the Sanctifiers, there's 4 of those guys. They each have a Ministerial Hand Flamer and a Sanctifier melee weapon. Plasma Gun, you know you love it. It's just rapid fire 1. It can overcharge for those 2 damage and has this. The Mindstorm Hand Flamer is strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage, 12 inch range. And the Mindstorm Flamer is strength 5. So it's basically just, they're basically better hand flamers than the Marines get because, the sisters love their flamers. So you get like so this unit's not too bad. You get like, you get a bunch of flamers. That's like 6 flamers. One of them is strength 6, AP 1, 2 damage, plus once per game. One of them strength 5, and then 4 of them strength 4. But that's a lot of flamers. It's not too bad. I don't know what sisters get like normally for like a unit, but for 100 points, it's not too bad. They only have a 5 up invul save. It's not too bad. Just for a bunch of flamers, you can just like screen something out and
Yeah,
then
they
just
they can
do
come back to
something like that.
life too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they only have
D3
a 5 up
models.
invul save, so they die pretty easily.
I will say the chick that has the Purity Seals crucified to her hands is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's probably the Miraculist. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know enough about why. I don't know. It's 100 points. You're right. Stuff does
This is
come
100
back.
points. I don't know if it's worth 100 points.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it comes back is nice, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime that happens, but I mean, they're 1 wound each. I don't know. It's
I mean,
something new.
Yep.
they'll die to bolters.
They will
Yeah.
die to bolters.
Yeah, I don't, unless someone can think otherwise, I don't really see why you take
It looks
this.
like they might just be a miracle dice farm.
Yeah, you get that once per.
Yeah, scout them up, just do stuff. But sisters already do this. I don't know what they do better than what sisters already do.
Yeah, I mean, I see you get to gain 1 miracle dice
Yeah,
when you're doing
for
active
every act
faith.
of faith they do, and then they can do another one.
Well, it's only once per battle they get that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
But I
don't.
mean, Battle Sisters already do. I mean, I don't know how many points Battle Sisters are, but like if Battle Sisters are 100 points for like 10 of them, they have a 3 up armor save and a 6 up invul save. And they do pretty much the same stuff.
I'm
Except they're
sure.
tankier.
I'm sure someone that's a Sisters player will use them and do really good, and then we'll be like, "Oh, that's what you use them for." I just,
We'll find out.
I don't see it. But then,
But you can also take these in Imperial Agents. They're pretty much the same, except if they have a Minister and Priest, they get Pulse into Wound for melee instead of Sustained Hits, which I think is actually better. And then they can, their turb is once for battle, they can use Command Point Stratagem for 0 CP, even if it's already been used by a different unit. So you basically Command Point reroll one of their things, one for game. The same amount of points. The only thing is they don't generate extra Miracle Dice. They just generate the extra. They just get you don't get you extra Miracle Dice. They just get you Scout on D Sergeant. Oh, they did extra leadership. All right, so they did extra leadership instead of generate extra Miracle Dice. So leadership 6 instead. It's like, all right.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd ever take these guys really.
I mean, they look better in Agents of the Imperium than they do Sisters, but
I do think they are that. But you can also attach an Inquisitor to them. So if you attach an Inquisitor to them, that actually isn't too bad. You get Pulse into Wound, and then they get like Scouts. So you put them in a Rhino, scout them up. Yeah, it's not too bad.
maybe
They got a
that's
bunch of flamer shots.
maybe that's the plays you put them in. I don't know.
Yeah, because they're getting like they have like 3 attacks each on the Sanctifier units. So they basically got 18. They got 18 strength 3 AP 0 1 damage attacks, but hitting on 3s. But they're possible wounds. They're wounding everything on 5s at least. The Death Cold Assassin is like 4 attacks, strength 4 AP 2 1 damage. And if you've got a good melee Inquisitor in there, they can actually do some damage.
Just put them in a Redeemer and scout the Redeemer up.
You can't. I wish you could. I've thought about that, but it's not a dedicated transport.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious though. You could do it with Black Templar and Pulsars, and then you got Melta that's up there. But yeah,
Well, you have to put them in like a I think you have to put them in a agents Rhino.
oh,
Or like an emulator or something.
Yeah, but the emulator wouldn't fit them all because they're 9 models.
Oh, that's true.
You have to put them in the Inquisition Rhino.
well, new stuff. I think honestly, the Sanctifiers. I think they were just in the. I think weren't they in a Kill Team box or something?
They are in the Kill Team
All
box
this
with
shit's
Bowmongers.
kill team stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Sancti. Honestly, they just made profile. They're like, oh well, just to kind of double their money up for collectors. I think the World Eaters won out on this deal with the
Yeah,
Goremongers.
yeah, that's something the world leaders actually need. This is just something that like might be useful for sisters, but it's not
Yeah.
a must take.
Yeah, I don't see it being taken, but obviously I'm the novice
Yeah,
player, so so that
I was
brings
not a
us
sisters player. I just don't see what they do better.
yeah, I think we'd have to I don't know, maybe we'll find out this weekend when people are running them. All right, so that gives us on to Adepticon. Adepticon happened. Davis, what do you have prepared for the Adepticon results? Is it well, we're gonna go over that.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Yep. So we know Space Marines won. I was
Yeah, so just kind of a brief overview. I watched some of the finals. Space Marine Gladius versus Yanari. Folger played I forgot the gentleman's name. But basically, long story short, Folger timed out. Allowed the Space Marine player to basically have 2.5 turns for free.
Yeah, and unfortunately that stream cut out. So we don't know what really happened. As far when they cut out, the Howling Banshees were charging. It was like turn 2, and the GW stream cut. I suspect it's because they were running 12 hours. They didn't split it up like War Games Live does. If they're approaching 12 hours, they'll start a new stream because YouTube only allows for a certain amount. It was kind of a bummer because I mean, it would have. I don't know. I'm curious to see what happened. Um,
They were also only doing like 2 hour, 2 hour, 45-minute rounds, which you really need more time for like a finals. You really need 3 hours, so those extra 15 minutes really matter.
Yeah, especially for setup. It used to be they gave you so much time for setup too, and now they don't. Now they include all that within. Well, back then you were deploying terrain and stuff, but I think the 3 hours is a lot of the terms we get to are 3 hours.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Yeah, Conan Jennings, Space Marines, kind of the basic Gladius list you see right now. 2 Vindicators, a couple Ballistas, Gilliman, Calgar and the boys. Just a lot of shots, a lot of everything hits harder. Everything is plus on the wound because of the double oath. It's one of those lists where if you can't deal with it, you're just kind of screwed. Kind of the top 5 here. Crazy enough, Orcs only made it to the top 16. I think they got bumped out during the top 8. So your top 8 were Space Marines, Eldari, Yanari, G-Sword Cult, Demons, World Eaters, Orcs, Demons. So 3 Demons, 1 Orcs, World Eaters, G-Sword Cult, Robin Roberts, good dude, owns the Nerd Bar down in North Carolina. Justin Curtis, friend of mine, running a weird demon list. He was running the Zinch Demons. I keep meaning to talk to him to see how that played. He had 3 Soul Grinders, which is kind of funny. And the rest of them are kind of just basic. Logan Schmidt had a funny demon list. He had 3 Bloodthirsters, which I thought was cool.
Now I've got 3 Orcs in the top 10.
Well,
yeah, but they didn't make it till into the
I see what you're
top
saying.
8.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, 1 Orcs did. He lost the 7th game.
Yeah, I watched Conan's game against Gene Slayer Cult too, and um, I kind of like what he did. I think someone else did one already won with this. It's a standard list that most people take Ironstorm, and he did it in Gladius. And I remember texting Mark, and I was like, "Why is he taking Gladius?" And it's just more versatile.
it
Um,
just really is.
yeah, he's got the Smash Captain in there, which I think does more work than we realize. Um,
We can
but
hide in corners. That's probably what he does.
yeah,
He half damage as a feeling pain. Two
yeah,
up, two
two
up,
up,
four
four
up,
up.
5 up,
Yeah. Um,
6 wounds.
I know against and he had the Reaper, so it was perfect in Gene Stealer Cult. I mean, it was good in the Yanari too. You don't see the Reaper as much. Um, and I think we were talking about that and how the meta is kind of shifting away from lots of vehicles to more bodies on the table. Um, I mean, you're still going to have vehicles, but I feel like you're going to start seeing more bodies. I mean, the meta is always changing, right? Right now, I mean, it was vehicle heavy, and now I think it's a good mixture, and that's why you got to adjust your list for the stuff coming up. Um, so I know we have. Was there anything else on Adepticon really to touch? You can go back and watch all those games. War Games Live is what we recommend.
Yeah, War Games Live has most of the interesting one. You see a lot of the top 8 players on War Games Live.
Yeah, the
Um,
GW stream is it is I'm not going to diss them. They have to do it the way they do it because they're a publicly traded company. But not hearing what the players are doing is it sucks. I mean, they try their hardest to kind of commentate on it, but it's just not the same. War Games Live is, go back and watch those games if you really want to learn how people play in the top competitive play. Um, I don't think we had any Battle Brothers at Adepticon competing in 40K. I know we had 2 that won
no, we had 2-1 who got podiumed at Old World.
Old World. Yep.
Yep.
But we didn't have any contingent go for 40K. But they did represent us for Old World, so that's good. I guess that brings us into BEA prep. So we have Battle to End Alzheimer's coming up next weekend. I think that's the next, though. That's the next. It is the next GT. I don't think there's anything this weekend. There's a doubles event in Battlegrounds in Richmond this weekend. Are either of you going to that?
I'm working.
I didn't
Yeah,
even know it was happening.
yeah. I saw in the group chat it was going on. So maybe we'll see about talking about them next week. Whoever wins, if we know the person. But BEA prep is coming up. Mark and I and you are going. Well, Davis is judging. Mark and I have both kind of tailored our list a little more to the meta. We won't dive into that. I mean, if you play me, it's a free win probably, but Mark has some tricks up his sleeve.
Just a
Um,
couple.
but would you say just for when most of the time your tournament, you're playing the same thing, but you do change one or two things usually between a tournament? Is that because you're shifting for a meta, or is it because it's more of what works best for you at any given time? Or
It's more like trying to optimize the list as much as possible. It's just like if I run into something that's not working, that's just like, all right, this is maybe I can do this a little bit better. I'll do something. I'll try to find out, all right, what can I do better? How can I fix this? How can I make this more lethal, better, stronger, leaner? That's basically what I do. It's all trial and error.
yeah, and I know what you're taking this weekend, and it is pretty lethal. Um, I think when I'm looking at this, we have 150 players going, and let's be real, I'm not going to be close to winning. So, and I'm not going to give away what I'm taking. I did change it from what I took to the RTT, but I think mainly the thing I'm excited about is playing with the units that I love. I'm going to have a lot of fun with those units, whether I win or not. I think it's more versatile. And sometimes when something has more easy tricks up its sleeve, it makes it easier to play. Where, if you're playing like some list, you have to, especially like Gene Stealer, Calder, Yunari, or Drukhari, you lose a unit, it's whatever. But you're playing like Custodes or even some of these Space Marine lists, you lose one thing and it's like, whew. So I think sometimes having less units is okay, but it's definitely, if you're having fun, that's what matters. And I'm going to be putting a lot of firepower and a lot of assaulting, and that's what I enjoy about Space Marines is, you know, I love melee and I love shooting, and it's the best of both worlds. And I'm really hoping that I do want to do Black Templar, and I'm hoping they get something cool because I've gone back and forth with you guys and others, and I really want to play them, and they're just not viable right now. If you want to win games, they're just not. I mean, someone like Davis could take Black Templars and do really well, but it's an uphill battle the entire way.
Yeah,
So,
it
but
definitely is.
and I feel like even Emperor's Children is going to be tough um, compared to some other stuff, but I'm excited to see them on the table. Has that book dropped yet, Davis?
Not completely.
Okay.
Hold on.
Got a cat in the screen. Cat. That's the battle cat.
Cat attack.
Yeah, not fully, but I've been doing a lot of practice games with it, and the more and more I play it, the better and better I feel about it.
It's definitely not a beginner's army.
No, there's definitely a lot of rules to it, and then there's a lot of nuances that you have to get around. But once you find what works, like I don't think bringing in Fulgrim is a play. He's just not good for the army.
Yeah,
I'm
he
kind
looks
of
cool.
teetering on. He looks fucking sweet. I'm kind of teetering on Lucius. I want him to. I want to play him. So I have two lists now that I'm going to practice with. One with the one I have been practicing doesn't have minute, and I haven't really lost a game. It's just everything's so fast. Everything hits hard. Um, Once you figure out what units actually do what you want them to do, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
that's one of my dilemmas is I go to these tournaments, I see these cool armies. Like I've played Matt twice with these World Eaters, and I'm like, I mean, even though I'm like, man, that Angron model looks really cool, and I got to just focus on getting all my Great Pile of Shame painted up before I even think of, well, having a variety of stuff to take to tournaments instead of, I hate constantly having to paint for tournaments. Like, even though I added something to my list that I have to get painted up, the ATV, it's like, man, now I have a week to do it, but I could have spent that other time doing other stuff and just paint at my leisure. But now I have like a deadline. It's just not fun. So it's
yeah, I'm a big fan of Angron. Angron's
dude, it's such a cool model. Like,
yeah, Angron's sweet.
I'm toying with starting a World Eaters army just because of Angron. Now with my luck, he'll be totally nerfed when the new book comes out. He won't get to come back, which is like the coolest thing ever. Like, if he doesn't come back, it sucks, but like that's a constant fear in your mind. Like, please don't
It's
come
this
back,
fear. It's just like, is he coming back? Is he not?
and
Yeah, it's great when it works. That's for sure.
I want to do a second army. And I'm not counting like Black Temple. That's all Space Marines. Like different factions, I don't count that. And I've been toying around with Custodes and this and this, and I'm like, man, these World Eaters are just calling to me, and I think it's because I love the assault aspect, and it's something like Custodes are great, but it's just more Space Marines to me. I'm really thinking about dropping the money and and doing World Eaters next. And I'm waiting for the new book. I don't think I'm gonna buy the little kit they have as anything special. I think they give you a special codex. You know, they only get one model, but it's just like you said, that Angron model's sweet, and it's just
I
calling to
will
me.
I will say it's impossible to compare Custodians to Space Marines.
Well, it's
Uh,
impossible, but I meant like,
they're just so much better.
well, stat wise, yeah, but I meant like, I feel like I would get bored with them because they play similar, if that makes sense. Like they look, I don't know,
Yeah, it makes sense.
like I don't know. They are so much better.
You
You
just
get
want to Ooga
less.
Booga, that's all.
Yeah, you gotta do good. Well, and then the other
No,
dilemma with
you just want Ooga Booga with World Eaters.
World Eaters, they just look cool to me. I mean, they may not be the best, but
I
I
mean,
mean,
there's play with that. There's play with that army.
what
That's one
is
of those armies where it's one of those armies where if people can't deal with it, you just run them over.
what is your
Yeah.
ideal? Before we cut it out, and I know we're kind of getting on a tangent now, but what is your ideal World Eaters list? If you
I don't
had just
know.
off the top of your head, do you like the Lord of Skulls? Do you think that has play?
No, absolutely. I would never
No.
put one of those in.
Okay,
The only way I would ever play one of those is if I'm running the Soulforge pack from CSM. No, I'd play Ingron. I'd have one or two of those gore things. I'd have a unit or two of Spawn, and then just as
Avocados.
many fucking Invocatus, and then as many 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound as humanly possible.
so you're not taking any Demon Princes or Scarbrand or any of that.
No, hell no.
No.
Okay,
They don't. They don't really. They wouldn't benefit. I mean, maybe the World Eaters Demon Prince, but World Eaters Demon Prince doesn't have anything on 3 8-bound.
okay.
You know, and 8-bound can make you stay in combat. I mean, I've lost a few games because units couldn't fall back
Can you do that
because they
with?
were stuck in combat.
Can they do that with vehicles too, or is it infantry only?
I think it's only
Oh,
if I
okay.
remember right.
Well, maybe that'll be on the horizon. I don't know. They just look so cool. I think Angron I would probably get commissioned. I don't think I could do that motto justice, and I'd want him to look badass. But
I have
anyway,
one if you want to borrow it.
well, yeah, I can always borrow it, but it's nice to own my own stuff. I don't think it's. I still got so many Space Marines to paint up. It's just a pipe dream right now. But other than that, upcoming events, Battle over Alzheimer's coming up next weekend, April 12th and 13th in
Hmm.
Maryland. And then we have the Richmond Open right across the street from Kings Dominion, pretty much,
Yep.
May 3rd through the 4th. And then your Hobby Place GT in Fredericksburg, May 24th and 25th. And then we'll be getting into June events here pretty soon. I don't think I have anything listed. I think oh, you got Nova tickets going on sale next week. So make sure you hop on and get those pre-ordered. Um, I think Away Games is doing something at Huzzah in June. So I think that'll be added to the list. But other than that, anything else, guys?
Nah.
We're hosting a 40K GT at Historicon in Philadelphia,
Are we?
or I'm sorry, in Pennsylvania, close to Philadelphia. So yeah, I'll get the details on that. JD and I are gonna do the first ever away games, the first ever 40K tournament at Historicon.
Okay. And
So
when do you know
Historic.
when do you know when that is? Like what month?
July, I think.
Okay. All right.
Let me
Yeah.
look.
So be on the lookout. Well, yeah. Let's look that up real quick because that'll be cool. And you said that's near Philly.
It's pretty cool.
Um,
Near Philly, he said, yeah.
it's about an hour north of it's in Lancaster.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's about an hour and a half for me.
Yeah, Lancaster, July 16th to July 20th. The 40K GT will be that Saturday, Sunday. We're shooting for 64 players, but Pennsylvania is a pretty hot spot for 40K, so we're hoping that we fill it up pretty good.
It is getting better too. So, I mean, I live in Pennsylvania now, and I've starting to notice we don't have a lot of GTs here in this area, so that'd be pretty cool. I don't think I could. What were those dates again?
July 16th, July. So
It's the 16th through the 20th.
uh, it'd be the 19th and 20th.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be out of town for that one. And that the same? That's not the same time as the ATC.
No, it's ATC's. I think beginning of the It's either the weekend after the weekend before. I can't
Okay.
remember.
Well, hey, hopefully I can hit that, but that's a new one to look out for, guys. So we will hopefully have an episode next week, talking with whoever. Maybe we can get someone that went to the doubles over the weekend, because double tournaments are always fun. It's a little RTT they're doing, and then after that we'll be talking about BEA, and it's 100 and I think it's up to 149 people right now, and it's the largest GT in Maryland, and it's for a good cause. So hopefully one of the, hopefully I'll win it, but hopefully if I don't win it, Mark will win it, and hopefully Davis will be the best judge. He'll get the best judge award.
I'll give them that.
All right, guys. See y'all next time.
Hi,
Bye.
bud.